do mailers even work? So one of my favorite topics, as many of you guys know, for the month of May especially, I kind of like gravitated towards a lot of like mailer things, right? But for the month of May, it was all about mailers, mailer talk, mailer this, mailer that. And why? Well, simple. I love mailers for the fact that I can use them. And like I could even like do my mailers after this live tonight, and I can like send it out while I go about my day-to-day business. Like no disruption. I don't have to put prospecting time on the calendar, which is like pretty amazing if you are a mom or a busy grandma, or whoever it could be useful for. Because if you need to start carving out more time in your already busy schedule, that's hard. So I love things that are highly scalable and also do not rely on the 9 to 5, such as mailers. So there's the video. Let me just pin it, and then we're going to dive in. Do mailers even work? And I actually have 3 things I want to discuss with you on that one. All right, we're up and tagged in the group, so if you want to find it later, it'll be a marked announcement. And now this way I can see your comments as well. So say hi if you're just hopping on. And let me know what state you're watching from, because I know you guys are coming from everywhere. So drop the state below. But do mailers even work? Who knows, right? Well, I'm going to go over this, and you can be the own judge of it, because my job is not to tell you, yes, it works, and you have to do it, because let's be honest, you need to be making your own judgment call on it. Is it right for you? And I want to talk to you about 3 things that I think are really, really important for you to know when it comes to mailers. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys, do mailers even work? Well, they are super targeted, guys. Mailers can be so targeted. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you can really determine who's going to get you mailers. Now, I talk about 2 different approaches. Now, for targeted, let's say you want to mail it to only 4-bedroom homes. Mailers let you do that. What if I want to put up an ad on Facebook and I only want to target people with 4-bedroom homes, right? Like the social media strategy. Not so much. It's just one of those things where you can be extra targeted. So for example, I just got an email today. So let's tie it into today, our day-to-day life. I got an email today, and it was an agent from a neighboring office that said, hey, I have a buyer looking for, and he started listing out all those things. And I'm like, why are you not doing your buyers a favor and you're hunting down that house and potentially another listing or 2 or 3? So here's what he was looking for. He was looking for, I think, a 4-bedroom within a certain school district with a basement and up to $900,000, which in my area is like really, really high. So I don't know about you guys. Maybe let me know in the comments. Is $900,000 a high price point? Just drop me yes, and if not, then drop me no. But yeah, so that's what he was looking for. And my teaching self would have suggested to him, be like, hey, maybe go back on one of our replays and just look and see how you can use an amazing tool such as Remind, which are the text records, or even like, dig through the expired and canceled listings from way back when, because what's expiring right now, right? Nothing. But dig through those and then see what you come up with, what kind of list. Now, mailers, you can send those to those people, for example, and you can say, hey, I have a buyer looking. And we talked about the I have a buyer flyer. The I have a buyer flyer works on mailers. You can just simply break it out. If you don't have our I have a buyer flyer, let me know. We'll get you hooked up with our template. You can just drop in buyer flyer template, and I'll have somebody shoot that over to you. But honestly, targeted mail is phenomenal. And this was just a buyer example. What if you want to go out and you want to just send mail to people in a targeted way? Well, maybe you only want to target people living in ranches. Maybe ranch living is your niche, right? Maybe you want to target only people with an ocean view. Maybe you want to target only people in a very specific neighborhood. Targeted mail, while this one is a little bit more expensive than blanketed mail, is possible. And you can get so hyper local on it. That's like, it's crazy. One of my coaches, we've had a discussion and I said, milestones. What are the milestones that I can put in front of my team and everybody that I help with their hyper local farms? And it's kind of like struck me when I was walking over to one of my listings, how many of you guys would just love to take a walk to install a lockbox, take a walk to put up a sign writer, like take a walk to do a final walkthrough, right? Like take a walk to collect your belongings from a listing, like the booties and the brochures, like. So anyhow, so I'm like, those are the milestones that we are looking for, that you inside our coaching group should be accomplishing. So that's one of my big goals, actually. It's like, I want you to just be able. You don't have to, but I want you to be able to take a walk. All right, Kathy, we're going to hook you up with a buyer flyer. Stay tuned until the end. I'll get that to you. But that's one of them, targeted. So if you want to have only 4-bedroom homes because you're saying, you know what, in my market area, 3-bedroom homes are sitting on the market forever. Again, I know not right now, right? But let's think in general terms. And you only want to go after 4-bedroom homes. You can do that by just sending targeted pieces. And again, let's tie it back into social media. This one is forcing you to use a 15-mile radius, which is really, 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 really big. 15 miles in my area can take me about an hour to drive, depending if I'm, going, well, maybe not quite an hour, maybe like 40 minutes. But it's a lot of miles on my car, a lot of time spent in my car. And the time I'm not working and producing and I'm away from my children is kind of like time that I'm missing. So the closer home I can bring it, like the happier I am personally. So there's reason number 1. What do you guys think about that one? Mailers are targeted. If you agree with me, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Yes. If you're thinking, I don't know, drop it in below. I want to have this discussion with you guys. Which brings me then to reason number 2. Do mailers really work? Well, the second thing I was going to talk to you guys about is they are brand building. Brand building, meaning that you get brand recognition. And this one is especially important because why? Well, really 2 reasons. You are a brick and mortar business. Now you can still be with EXP, you can still be with something, whatever. It doesn't make a difference. You are in the perception of a consumer, you are tied to an office. And again, the consumer doesn't understand EXP and virtual world and stuff like that. They just don't. So that's not what I'm trying to say. You are a brick and mortar business in the eyes of a consumer, which wants to know that you are in their area. You are in their area servicing their needs. You're not a company in Texas trying to serve people in Illinois. You are local. You are a brick and mortar, and I know I have to be, brick and mortar business, even EXP, kind of, thinking. Try to think about the consumer perspective. And with a brick and mortar business, well, don't you think that it's good to have a certain brand recognition going on at a point in your business? I'm fairly certain that companies such as Best Buy, Bed Bath & Beyond, they did not grow to those companies because they were a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit over there. It was brand recognition, and then it was building. It was building it more and more and more. And it's kind of like it spreads. It's like this amazing spider web that just kind of like starts, going bigger and bigger and bigger. And that is the ultimate goal. So I'm currently reworking a couple things inside our mastermind. And one of the things we're currently we're working in it is like the start out from an agent going from, like 0 to 3 million, which a lot of times this is a big core foundational piece. So what do? You really go back to your core. You start out with your core, same with your brand building parts. You want to make sure that all those pieces are in place. So by the time expansion comes, right, it's like You're expanding, but you have the pieces in place. Sure, you have to add a couple more, but at the same time, the brand building is already established. You already have a solid customer base, and from there, you can just expand. It's a lot easier to expand from a customer base, okay? And I'll keep that one for a topic of a different kind. Maybe we'll do that one next week or so. But what's a customer base? I should probably make a mental note or just rewatch the video later. So can somebody like drop it in the comment of like, just remind me, customer base, and then I'll remember. I know. So then that's part number 2. Mailers, let's recap real quick. Why do mailers work? They are highly targeted, right? Highly targeted. That was number 1. And number 2, we're right now discussing, it's their brand building, which you are a brick and mortar business. But that's not the only thing. You are also a service-based business, meaning the better service that you provide, the more people are going to be recommending you, trusting you. And that's a huge part of it. So seeing a brand, seeing a face in other mediums helps the consumer to feel like, I can trust this brand. This brand is here because they're also in my mailbox. They are a legitimate brand, which goes along with, you need to have a business page, right? You should have a business profile because now you are legitimate. I know it sounds silly, but honestly, if you're not at this point having a Facebook business page, an Instagram business, if you're not having, like your Yelp on it, your Google, and you don't have to be active on all of those. It's just a matter of like, they type it in, boom, you're there. You type it in, boom, you're there. Because if you're not, the consumer is thinking, well, what kind of service-based business is that that's not even findable online, right? It starts having like doubts in their mind. And while you don't have to be present at every single one, because let's be honest, there's 24 hours in a day, and unless you really want to hire somebody to manage all your social media platforms, because that's what you would need to do because it's a full-time job, let's be okay with not being everywhere necessarily, but at a small portion. So that is the second part where I do think mailers have a huge benefit for you to be in front of somebody. And honestly, like I love getting Bed Bath & Beyond mailers because not that I would ever go there really, but if I do, I know they're going to come to my house, right? Because they're repetitively mailed to me and I know their brand. And if I think I need to get bed stuff because my house is going on the market and it's just not looking right, I go to Bed Bath & Beyond because they always got a coupon. So that's just something to consider when it comes to mailers. Now, again, if we go and compare that with our social media, 15 miles, there's a lot of people on 15 miles. The chances of you hitting the same people, unless you are putting it into your campaign saying, I want to hit the same people over and over and over and over for brand awareness, that's hard. Okay. And then you also don't know, am I going to hit the same people that are like all over that 15-mile radius, or are you going to concentrate on one area? So I like the mailers, which brings me then to the last point. The last one is, why do mailers even work? The last point is talking about avoiding the noise. What does it mean? Well, let's think about, again, notifications, dinging on our, on our phones, your day-to-day craziness. You're trying to just catch a lunch break on Facebook, on Instagram, going up on Twitter real quick. You're just trying to do something. All of a sudden, this is going on and that is going on, and there's just a lot happening on a general stimulus basis. So all of us are really tuning out, like, guilty. I can tell you I'm tuning out a lot. Unless it is something that catches my attention that I feel is relevant, I am generally online tuning out for the most part. Now, what do I do when I come home? One of the things is I empty my mailbox. When I empty my mailbox, I sort the mail. Yes, there's 2 piles, and we'll leave the 2-pile discussion again up for another night. But it's like, yes, you have like the in the trash immediately and got to look through piles, right? So one of the things that I don't have, first off, in my hand is my cell phone. I do not have my cell phone in my hand when I open the mail. Like, I try to pay attention to it. I pay attention to it with my husband, with other people. The phone is generally nowhere to be found. Like, try and do a little experiment and try to notice your own household behavior. Where is your phone located when somebody is opening the mail? Okay. And here's a fun fact. The IRS, the people that we do not like to pay our money to, but yet we do it every single year, sometimes multiple times a year, they send mail. There's no email communication. There's like no text messaging, right? Try and call them. It's like, good luck with that one. They sent mail. They send snail mail. And because they know this is the only way, they know you get a letter in the mail from the IRS, you focus, right? You're like, oh boy, something good or something bad. Don't know. Let's open it. But they are using that medium not because it's like, oh, let's just do it because this is the way it's always been. There's strategy behind it, guys, believe it or not. Okay, this is not like, oh, we sent you an email. It's like, no. Email, spam folders, right? Don't deal with that. Email delivery, it's, it works. It's definitely for some stuff. But if the IRS is trying to cut through the noise, maybe there's something about mailers that might just work. So do mailers really work? Again, I'll leave that up to you to decide 100%. I can tell you, for me personally, every time I put $1 in for a mailer, I generally end up getting $10 back out. A 10x ROI, personally, I take any day of the week. Bonus fact, I get to do it when my kids are in bed. I get to design my mailers, send them off to print, and I'm done with it. There's nothing else. I don't have to go deliver them. I don't have to go and optimize them. I don't have to do any of that shenanigans. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it's lead generating. Yes, there's a couple like different things to like, that go on the mailers, but the biggest one is doing it really in a way that generates leads. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for hopping on tonight. And Kathy, I'm going to get the buyer flyer over to you. And then if you have any other questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll talk to you guys this week.